We get kicked off looking at charts. I want to remind everybody that we are live Monday through Friday at 8:30 Eastern. It's open to the public. You'll find login links on our social media areas or maybe in your email. Our day trading room will be presenting all day to the public. It's an open house if anyone would like to join. And you can, registration is required. So check for the link in our YouTube videos, our Facebook, our X social media area, and then flood the house. All righty. Let me move this out of the way and let's take a look at some charts. First thing I want to do, let's see, is the mic on? Everything running? Yeah. Okay. Hey, good morning, everybody. Coach, JW, Bill, Tommy, Gold, Thomas, Melinda, Julie, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Alan, Chip, Sharon, Daryl, Rod, Mike. Wow, everybody. Gary, Roger, Sonny. All the early birds here. Hey, Robert. Good morning. Okay. Let's get started, Alan. Hey, for anybody that followed us on Eric yesterday, we got into Eric, and I think a lot of people did. I was up 9.5% at market close, and it looks like we may be up even more today here. It's popping up. There's an excellent chance I close at least 50% of my trade on this today. So just to let you know. All righty, let's take a look at the market here, huh? SPY. Well, I still maintain that we are stretched out, so be cautious, okay? I'm still looking at a target up here of 694.90, right about where that blue line is, or inside that green box, if you want to give me a little leeway there. I do think we head up there. We could pull back before we get up there, but again, please be careful with the market. There's a little cleaner. We're just so stretched out here with, a bullish day, and then we gap up and gap up again. We actually gap up again and little gap here. We're just getting so pulled so far away from the 8 EMA and the trend indicator here that it does concern me a little bit. So careful not to chase, don't buy high, and take profits into strength. If we take a look at the diamonds here, they're holding up well. I'm actually kind of glad to see, where the diamonds sort of weakened yesterday, and we're opening up just on an inside day, because that allows the 8 EMA to climb up a little bit. That's what we need. We need a little moving average support to help hold some of that price action up there. Qs, much like the SPY, I don't know, the Qs and the SPY these days, they're like Siamese twins or something. I ought to merge those two together in the way they operate together. But here we're moving up. It's still bullish, nothing bearish. We're just too far away is what I think. A little bit of IWM here. IWM is cruising sideways. I think that's still a nice looking chart. Trend indicator is still trending up. That's the green and red dots. The T line is still above the trend indicator. That's the black line, the 8 EMA. And price is still above the 8 EMA. And we're in a bullish 3-8 trap right now. So all looking good here. Take a look at the transports. Important. I've got those orange lines drawn there. And to get the transports bullish, of course, everybody knows that. You got to break out. If we break down, we'll be bearish, and we could see a target of around that 200 period moving average. And that would probably put a little bit of pressure on the market right there if that happened, if it broke out to the downside. If we break out to the upside and we get through these tops, well, market could push higher. Transports would help the market tremendously. SMH is just on fire. That's all I can say. Man, it is cruising up there. That's what's pulling the market up. Just the tech is doing it. Speaking of tech, we've got some very big earnings. We've got Fed's going to come out today and do their dance, and Big earnings. So be very, very careful of that. SMH, if you look at that, that's pulled way too far from the 8 EMA and our trend indicator down here. So a little bit of a pullback, I think, would be really good for the market. It would set a lot of charts up for what we're looking for. And, like, runs and pullbacks and then get back into that run. Or, this would be a swing, pullback, get back into that swing, something like that. So I've got a few charts here. Well, let's do this. Let's take a look at some charts I see over here. Good morning, everybody that is following us on Restream, Realstream right now. I see some of you there, so thank you very much. Yes, we do have a community on Discord. We do, and I'll try to get you the link here in just a second. Okay. Baba, let's look at Baba here. Yeah, Baba's acting fantastic. So let's take a look at Baba. So Baba here has had one big swing to the upside, has pulled back, and now it's trying to swing up a little bit. One would think that the target would be to revisit these tops, and one would be correct. What I would like to do with this is let's draw, I'll take from this low here and go to this high. And let's come down to this low there. And what I'm going to do is add a couple of targets in there. Whoop, there we go. And let's just duplicate this one. And then we'll put one more target, just that one right there. So on Baba, that's what I would look for, is to come up and revisit these highs, probably get a little bit of consolidation, and then the next target in that 202 area maybe. And then these lines up here, those are also targets. But let's get through those first. I'm going to flag that one. Thank you very much. That's a nice chart. Okay. All right. I've got some here. Let's take a look at Blaze. Look at Blaze here. I know that Blazes were up pre-market, and here it's pulled down. I'm not worried about each and every single day, one single candle, things like that. I'm looking at this chart pattern right here. Yeah, that'll work, I guess. I'm looking at that whole chart pattern right there, and the way we've rallied off that 50-period moving average, and then we've pulled back here, and now we're popping up. Or are we actually going to end up just more consolidation to the right? And that's good. I like that. And then we've got the 8 EMA coming up. So I'll be watching this one for a possible buy here. And the target I have up here is around 12 and a half. That's looking pretty good. AT&T. I've posted this a couple of times, and I think it's going to hit my buy list today. I've mentioned with members and maybe even here that I'm thinking about buying some AT&T and holding it a bit longer than I would normally hold something. And right now, I think it's setting up like that. So it's in my buy pocket right now. So it may be a buy first thing in the morning for me here as soon as the market opens up. Get into this. I like the way we've got a bottom in here. It's kind of a inverted head and shoulders. What we could see here is, we run up to maybe that area right there and then pull back a little bit. We could see that and then move back up. Because why couldn't we? Simply because that's what charts do. They just don't go straight up. So that's something I'm looking at. And I've been talking about that for a few days. Now, in hindsight, I wish I would have just bought it yesterday. But we can still buy it. There's still plenty of money to be made on it. Okay. Hey, RJ, how long do you normally hold something? It depends which account I'm in. In the Road to Wealth account, the account that has tripled in the past 9 months. Oh, I've got positions in that I've been holding for over a week, a couple of them maybe over 2 weeks. But typically what I'm looking for is, let's go back to Eric, okay? Let's look at Eric. I bought Eric yesterday I closed when the market closed, I was up 9.5%. I'm clearly going to be up more money today, right? And just a few minutes ago, when we were looking at it, I said I'm likely to close half of it out. Well, if Eric runs up higher today, let's see here. Let me get my tool out. Highlight. There we go. Paint it green. There we are. So if Eric was actually to run up like something like that, well, I'm going to sell the whole thing because that's a ton of money and a lot of goals. If you're in the room today, ask me about goals and we'll talk about that. But that puts a lot of minor goals into the pot that adds to the bigger goal, which is right now I'm working to quadruple the account um, by the end of the year. So there's a 2-day hold for you. It to me, it has to do with money. Okay, am I making money? It's not about maximizing the trade and 100% winner. I don't do those. I want to go back to AT&T for a second, though. If you look at AT&T, my sweet spot is right up here. That's where I would like to see it go. Now, anybody that's been trading at all knows you're going to have a little rough time getting over the 200, and you're going to have a little rough time getting over the 50. That's just a fact of trading. But AT&T might be one that I actually hold through the roughness, looking for that next target, and then and looking for that main target. And then the next target I'll be looking at, and I wouldn't be surprised if I close the whole thing out around this 29.50 if it gets there. Okay. And this could take 30 days. It might take 60 days. I don't know. I may hold it longer. Another thing that goes into that is the quality of the company I'm trading. And AT&T would fall under one of those super quality companies. And if it's a super quality company, I'm likely that's one that I may buy in a different account. We talk about that account in the room here every day. Then I'm likely to hold that a little longer, as long as it's still that we could get to those targets up there. Okay. I can talk a lot more about that, today. All right. Let's see. Balram, is that how I say it? Balram. Um, I do see you entered at 3:55 p.m. just 5 minutes before the close. Do we get enough time to enter the trade? Well, I don't know if you do. I mean, that's up to you if you get enough time. Now, Val, I have to be honest with you. I don't promote just following. Okay. I don't promote that. I mean, if I know a lot of people do follow, that's cool. But I do, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll say, hey, I'm buying XYZ. I'll go over to Tasty Trade, I'll buy it, and then I'll post it in there. So, if I say I'm buying it, then if you want to buy it, you could go buy it. You don't need to see exactly what I did. Uh, 40, 50, 60 days out, around 70 delta. It's not a thing to think about. Pretty simple. Okay. And we can talk about that. I can help you during the day here. All right. Good morning, Julie. Looking at some NIO. Yeah, I think I'd look at that too. That one looks like we're heading back up to that top. Let's move this back up here. Looks like I've done a little work on it already. So NIO headed back up to this top. Right here would be my sweet spot on it. That would be the 50% retracement back up. Let's put a flag on that chart. That's a nice chart. Thank you very much. So yeah, thanks, Julie. That's beautiful. Coming on to the upside, looks like we're trying to put a tradable swing together. We're in a 3/8 trap area right now. We've got 3 bars of consolidation right here. That looks beautiful. And the more I talk about it, the more I like it. And we're up here about 11.3% on the trade for that particular swing from here to here. We break out, then the next swing would be from here up here. Okay. Sonny, good morning. CCJ. Yeah, this thing was on fire yesterday, wasn't it? I love to see the inside day today. So here's the way I generally trade a gap, which is not the day of the gap. I'm not a big gap trader on the day of the gap. If I'm in it and it gaps, I like to close it out. Gaps are gifts. So what I like is for the day to finish, the next day to start, and then put a box around, say, yesterday's candle. And then it becomes very simple. I'm a candlestick trader, so I follow what candlesticks are doing, and it's real simple. We start to break out. Well, it's a buy. It starts to break down. That's a short down toward maybe the T line, maybe the trend indicator, maybe price action right into here, something like that. Um, for those that want to buy it early, so let's do this. I'll just match their colors here. So here we are opening up. What if we say another day, or even well, let's say another day down, and then we start seeing buyers in there? Well, isn't that the perfect setup, what we look for? A run to the upside and a pullback and a buy signal. So I could see buying that, and then our stop would be in that area right there. So right now, CCJ definitely looks good. I would say it absolutely has more upside. The trick is buying it. You just have to have those rules. Uh, and I just explained mine right there for buying. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much. That's a nice one. Eric is up 4.2% for the moment in Sweden. It's a good chance it continues up in the U.S. Yes, thank you very much. Joke or Jock is how you say your name. I'm not sure. Everybody, if I could ask a personal favor of everybody, if your name is Tom, use Tom. If your name is Rick, write Rick. I try to encourage that with people. um, we don't have to use Pocahontas. We could use your name. Let's see. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at, hey, Yorina, you bought some TNDM. There we go, TNDM. Yeah, hey, that looks pretty good. There's my 50% sweet spot, and it looks like we're headed there. And by the way, that 50% sweet spot was started from this low. So when I drew these lines from this top, when I drew one line from this top down to the bottom, that created all these lines right here. And this line, this is the 50% sweet spot. Now, I may not have drawn this. I wouldn't have drawn it there. I would have drawn it maybe over here when it started reaching a rounded bottom breakout, or maybe somebody mentioned it over here. But anyway, so I draw those lines, and there's that 50% sweet spot right there. And I'm actually going to put one more line in there. So we'll just duplicate that, and that'll be the next one on top. I've got so many rooms open right now, makes my mouse and everything a little slow. But anyway, that would be the next target. This is a rounded bottom breakout, one of my favorite chart strategies. And we're playing with the dotted deuce here, or the modified 200. Now that we've tested it and pulled back, that looks like a good chance of getting up there. So I'm going to make sure that I flag that one. Thank you very much, Yorina. Appreciate it. Nice chart. Hey, Kay. Good morning. Yeah, good morning to you too. You're looking at some CF. What is that? LT? CFLT long. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that looks like it's rocking. I don't know if you guys can see it. I have it pretty light on my chart. I don't really want it to stand out, but it's that line right there. And that's the 500 period moving average. And, I use moving averages an awful lot. I do. I don't use a lot of moving averages. The moving averages I use a lot. And price goes from one moving average to another moving average. That's a strategy. And then price also goes through them. So, but I use the strategy of moving averages. So it's coming up to that 500 period moving average. Tested it yesterday, and you can see right there it was there. And then here it was here. So it tells me, well, that's a pretty important moving average. So I think I would want to watch that pretty carefully. It's not that I wouldn't necessarily not buy it. I just would want to keep my eyes on that. Let's do this real quick. It's going to be almost there, I think. But if we were to do that, see how we broke right out of that 50%, and now we're moving up. So the next target is going to be up here, about that 2630. And then, of course, the highs would be a target up here around 2770. That's a nice chart. I'm flagging that. Thank you very much. Earnings, I just noticed the earnings on this is in February. That makes me love this chart even more. I'll be so glad when we get out of this earnings season. It just makes me go crazy sometimes. Great looking charts, and I don't like trading through earnings, so it's sometimes it's tough. It is. Hey Sharon, you're looking at some ELF. There we go. ELF is trying to move up in the bigger picture. Let's look at this right here. Get my little arrow out. There we go. I'm going to use red. In the bigger picture, you can see how we just went up and see how we went down. So what we're looking for, right, is to go up again, just like that. So we need to see that. Some people may want to do this, so we can do that. You've got that downtrend line on here. I'm not worried about that downtrend line. When it comes to resistance, if resistance was never broken, well, we wouldn't have a stock market, would we? Everything would be down to zero. So resistance is just a place for a target for me, and then reevaluate your trade. But right now, that's looking pretty good. I would love to see price hold over the 50, drag the 8 EMA and the trend indicator over the 50. But right now, I see a 6% trade up to that, probably a little consolidation, and then possibly a breakout. I just looked over at the cloud, and if we can break over at another monitor here, if we can break out over that cloud, now that I look at it, this would be a perfect scenario for the following. So we go ahead, we get moving up, right? And we get up to that little resistance line, and we pull back a little bit, come down to the cloud, and we start bouncing off the cloud. What a great area to be buying right there. And if you're already in it, you're rocking the trend there. So I think ELF is looking pretty good now. The downside, it has earnings in a few days, and that makes me just ill because I don't like to trade through earnings, but you might be good with it. Hey, Coach, you bought some HBM at the close yesterday. Way to go. Look at that. Coach is making money already this morning. Now, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Congrats on that one. Way to go. Let's see. Balaram, BIOX. We're setting up for that rounded bottom breakout. Loving the bottom. I'm loving the little wedge that we're building right in here. I think I might like that. We start moving over the 50 period moving average, and then that makes the dotted deuce, the 200 target areas. Now we're still going to have to, worry about places where price might want to stumble a little bit, and that might be around that $2.60. But then nothing says it won't go higher. Do keep in mind it has earnings on the 10th. Okay, on the 10th. What else do we have? Good morning, Cassie. All righty. Here, I've got a couple more here. Let's look at Wolf. Wolf is one that I'm very interested in buying, and the pullback here will offer what I think is a good entry on it. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Wolf. Earnings are on the 11th, but that's 12 days away, I guess. Yeah, about 12 days now, 12, maybe 13 days away. What I'm looking for is, from here, maybe back up to that 50% retracement and then pop up a little higher. It's not something I would hold through earnings, so it would be a buy, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 days I would be out of it and looking for those profits. So Wolf is looking really good. Take a look at VLO. Look at that VLO. I think VLO, I can't remember now. I may have posted a chart on our Facebook, X, Discord channels. I may have posted a chart there, or maybe just mentioned it in Discord, I guess. Maybe that's it. But this is setting up very nice. Here we've got this pop-up, pullback 3-8 trap here. VLO is looking really, 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 really good, I think. Love the chart pattern. C. Now I'm currently holding C, and I think we're currently green on C, so that's working out. Still looking for that next target. You can see the targets that it's been through already. You know, this one, this fat one, that's our 50% retracement, and we've traced right back up to it. We broke out, and then we went to that next target. So now the next target is up here, the following target there. So, yeah, C's looking pretty good. Wells Fargo. What time is it? We've got a few minutes. Wells Fargo right here is setting up. The 50% retracement, just taking from these lows up, and then, you know, an extension of this trade puts us at about this, 88 area. And then the next target following that is around that 89 area right in there, setting up a nice 3-8 trap. I'm currently an owner of Bank of America, and that's setting up for that next target to the upside of 53.70 here. So, whoops, let me catch up to a few things. Let's see. Hey, JW, good morning. You're looking at some SBSW? Beautiful. One of my favorite trade setups is when price goes from underneath these two moving averages, the trend indicator, which is just a moving average, and then the 8 EMA. When we go from underneath to above, that's one of my favorite setups right there, to get me started into the trade. So we see that gap. Now I'm interested in buying in this area right here, and this area, I'm gonna draw this a little high because it could pop up, and I may not buy it on that pop up. What I may do is this right here, is go ahead and let it get bullish, because I'll tell you, I can almost guarantee you what's going to happen. It's going to pull back. So we're going to have a double bottom, right? And see, we have a high here. So we have a low, high, higher low. Let me change the color. We break out, right? Break out right there. And then it's going to come back and test. And this could offer a very nice entry in that. Also, right now is a good entry. I'm not saying that that's, you know, what absolutely you want to wait for, but it just happens too many times. I would also be very, 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 very concerned about that $12.30 area. Let's see. Yes, Sonny, you mentioned. Oh, I mentioned it in Discord. Thank you very much. DBRG. There we go. DBRG. Yeah, that's it. Man, I've got that all messed up. Here, let's just get rid of all that. Get rid of all that. There we go. Here's the 500 period moving average. So when I'm for me anyway, when I'm personally trading, what I'm going to do is I trade in kind of blocks. Okay, I look for setups within a block. That 500 period moving average is a block. So anything below that would be my trade. Now, it doesn't mean it can't go higher, but this is how I would set my plan up from here to here. That's it. Now, from here, the second trade or the continuation of the first trade would be probably to those highs. And then you're looking at the next block, or the breakout block would be something like that. And that's how I like to trade, something, you know, in that way right there. So the first thing would be to get that thing over that 500 period moving average. That would be a major thing to do. Okay. Well, it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. About time for me to close it up and get the videos wrapped up here. Want to thank everybody for being here. Absolutely appreciate it. Okay. Thanks for everybody dialing in on our live pre-market. We've got people all over the world here. What Sweden? I want to thank you very, very much for being here. Absolutely appreciate it. I don't know who else is. Um, it's only if you tell me. I don't have any way to know where you're from. But thank you so very much for being here. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, all the members. And I'm excited to get today started. So let's all meet back up here in the room in about 30 minutes and get this day trading going. A day of trading, not day trading, going. Let's make some money and let's get our own road to wealth account running down that highway. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in about 30.